Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Night Owl on your Saturday night, Season 9, coming at you live, the opening round from Spa here in the beautiful hillside section. And of course, Ted Edwards with me here. I'm Jesse Lee and Benjamin Highland, aka Stewie, behind the cameras as always. And Ted Edwards making his weekly debut with me here. And oh boy, Ted, it's going to be a good one.
Oh, it sure is, Jesse. I'm really looking forward to this, seeing who's in this split one. Bit unusual for Night Owl having two splits this season, which is very nice to see. Two big splits as well. But we've got a load of familiar drivers you probably have seen before in this top split, and some different cars I've seen.
Perhaps more interesting on top of all of that is this is a series of your making here. You're the reason that the races are where they are and the rules are what they are as well. A little firsthand experience. You not only get to preside over the series, but you get to participate in the series in a non-track way. Normally, the race admins, they will usually drive in the series. You have been no different in the past 6 months or so. But now a completely different point of view. I think today is going to be interesting for you on that account. I'd quite like to hear what you have to say after today. But of course, the big thing is a brand new season, some new faces, some old faces, and some very interesting car choice.
It sure is. We've got all different cars this time, which is very nice to see. We've got all different people. I've seen there's some new faces here, and there's some older faces. But yeah, this
Speaking
time
of
I'm
old, Jordan Daly.
very old. He's an old boy.
That's
Bless him.
not what
Nah,
that's not what I meant.
nah. He's been here for a while. I think he's been here since season 2. I think that's the same with Grim Lilith and a lot of others. I've been here since season 2. Normally drove in here, but yeah, today this season I'm commentating, which is a different thing to do. But I'm
Talk,
looking forward to it too, Jesse.
talking about new faces, Sean Madison in the 60 in an interesting car as well. The Honda, of course, that will be one to watch out for me. It's an unfamiliar name. I believe they've entered RCI before, but I'm not familiar with them. So this will be an interesting take. We've got 30 plus cars qualifying 15 minutes. It's pretty much run as quick as you possibly can. This, the pro and the high silver split. There's another split going on as well, low silver and AM, but this is the highest one available. The pros and the high silvers were basically separated by almost nothing. It's almost a shame we had to split it off into two different categories, but them's the breaks.
Yeah, I think the split between low and high silver was between I think 3 or 4 drivers was 3,000 or 300. It's one of them. It's very close. They're all close, which is very nice to see. Very nice to see. There's going to be a lot of competition, especially with the low silver AM. It's very nice to see. There's a lot of new drivers in there, which is very. We always want to see over here at RCI.
Well, it's nice to have so much competition in Night Owl. Night Owl was one of the biggest, if not the biggest, at one point championship we did. It grew to a critical mass at one point. Then it sort of receded a little bit, but the numbers are definitely up this season. Two very packed splits. You could have argued to split it up more than that, but we decided, well, we didn't decide anything. You decided, Ted, that two splits was perfect to have all of these cars competing at the same time. One question that I have for you as we finish up our warm-up lap here, is there a overall championship as well, or is it just the two classes?
Uh, it's just the two classes in each split. There's the two classes. That's all it is. So overall doesn't matter as much. Can do to some people. I know it does to me, but yeah, it's just you got your pro, you got your high silver, you got your low silver, you got your nice AM.
Well, there you have it. The reason I brought that up, folks are probably going to be wondering, well, if it's pro and high silver, why would that even be a thing? Well, there are a lot of silvers here because the cutoff had to happen at some point, right, Ted? So
Yeah.
the, There are a bunch of silvers here that I reckon could win overall, and that's why.
Yeah, I could have split it into a pro, silver, and am 3 different splits, but there wasn't enough cars to do that. We have done that in the past, like you said. Night Owl hit to a point where it was big enough and it had the 3 splits. But I think having the pro and high silver and then having the low silver and am is fun because it's sort of like a multi-class sort of style. Not multi-classes in car wise, but multi-classes in the category.
Well,
So
that's not the line.
I wouldn't say that was
Is
the line, Jesse.
that was very interesting, but rather besides, is this Savalainen's car? A new look. We don't normally see him in a BMW regardless, but this different car, this is the M6, I believe. And on top of that, a interesting paint scheme on that car as well.
Yeah, it's different from Silverline after coming out of the full red, was it red and black Mercedes he drove last season? I think the season before that as well. So seeing him in an M6 is very different compared to the M4. Quite
Well, it's,
surprising.
it's almost a different color. Is that? I hate to get into the color conversation because last time we got into this conversation, it proved that I was colorblind, but that to me looks very much pink.
It's between a red and a pink. It's more pink, I'd say. Whereas his last one was more red.
Savalainen, who was likely going to be the car to give us our first lap in qualifying. It's a long old way around Spa-Francorchamps, as you might expect. He will not give us our first lap. The lap invalidated. So easy to do in a couple of spots in particular around this particular race circuit. Can invalidate, and unfortunately, Savalainen's done just that.
Forgot how this car sounds. It sounds so nice compared to some of the other cars. It's different. You don't really see the M6 anymore, obviously, because the M4's here, which still sounds nice. Oh, here's Ryan Mawson.
He did it.
Yeah,
Brian Wilson did an 18.9 on his first lap. Miguel Martins does just shy of that, a 19 flat for the 62. Tio Anton comes in, and there Timothy Flamger and Stachecki come in now. An 18.0 is the current fastest, but that's been replaced by Watts as the times continue to come in. A 17.59 now, the mark to beat. Jordan Watson.
that was a fast time.
This is exactly what I was talking about earlier about silvers. They are meant to be split up by their pre-Q. Pre-Q did not happen here at Spa. You are going to see the mixing of the classes as you would often do in GTWC. There's no hard limit, and that's pretty much what you're going to see out of this championship. It is, and we would like you all to think of it this way. It's basically 30 plus cars that could all win the race, essentially.
So just here,
All
Silverline has invalidated another lap, Jesse. So he must be pushing that car right up to the limit.
Well, Savalainen knows what lap time that car's capable of. He practices a lot. He got a lot of practice. Probably not that M6, but he does have a lot of practice, and he knows what lap time he can do. And he's probably just trying to hit it on the money. He's not trying to set a banker lap at all. Just wants to set the one quick lap. That was Alex Rogers in the M4 BMW, and a strange car for the a very strange car for Rogers to be in. You're going to see that a lot this season with Night Owl. That is sort of the spirit of Night Owl. Get out there, have fun, try something a little bit different.
Yeah, I heard from Rogers earlier on that he's struggling in the M4, around Spa that is. So he might improve in the race. You never know. Some people get used to the car during the race and just pull these fast laps out of nowhere. But he's gone from the Aston Martin to last season, and I think the season before was the Porsche, and now he's jumped into the M4. So he's jumped around a few cars. I know he's very quick in the Aston Martin, so Yeah, it's nice to see. It's nice to see a lot of people choose a lot of different cars from what they're used to. Um, Grim, he's used to driving the Mercedes Evo. He's in the Porsche this season. You've got Max Payne. He's in. Was he in? He's in the Aston. He was. Was he in the last season? Oh, the Nissan. He's been in a few times. I've seen. That's nice to see. He's jumped out of that car. It's just nice to see people in different cars testing to see what they can do.
There are so many cars that are coming to the line with a slower or invalidated lap. That first lap was money for some of the cars out there, but for a lot of them, it is not going well. Phil Malter there with a pickup and an improvement from the South African in the 46. But I'll give you a little hint, folks at home, maybe uninitiated to ACC. Those dots on the track map, if they're gray, they're on a valid lap. If they're sort of that blue color, that's an invalidated or an out lap. And well, you see, it's pretty much a 50-50 split right now. Alex Rogers not valid either, but then again, you probably saw that yourselves, eagle-eyed viewers among you, and I'm being told by Stewie that Savalainen has invalidated a third consecutive lap. Ted, at what point do you abandon going for broke? You have to get a lap in, regardless of where you are, regardless of how quick you are. We all know Savalainen is a competitor every single race he's in, but at what point do you abandon going full steam ahead and just settle down and set an okay lap, running out of time?
Yeah, especially around Spa, it's 2 minute, 2 minute 19, 2 minute 17 as you've seen, 2 minute 17 a lap. So you ain't got long, especially with 5 minutes 50. I think, I think it was if it was 7 minutes left to go, I would think about okay, I need to just get a lap in, even if it's a second off what my pace should be. At least I got a time and I don't have to start from the back. Which starting from the back is not a bad thing, but it might put you out of focus for the race. So yeah, I'd definitely be thinking about just getting a lap in now. Because once you get that lap in, you can find where you can go faster.
Well, Lucas Cedar currently fastest on the board, a 17.332. That's Watson second in the 147. Samir Foch came to the line there, and that was either not a valid lap or not a faster lap in the 88. Everybody else trying to pick up the pace, including this man. Actually, probably not try to pick up the pace is Savalainen, the number 100 BMW. Man, does that feel weird to say. Is not set a valid lap. It's not for want of trying. He's been out there this entire session and has just invalidated every single time around the track. He's got to get a lap in the next couple of laps, you would think. Otherwise, he's just going to run out of time. You don't want to start in the bottom half of this field if you feel you have a car that could win this race. I think Savalainen might feel like he has a shot, but starting 28, that's almost a death sentence in a 1 hour race.
Yeah, this is the same with Alex Rogers, Alicia Mellis, and Ralph Huel as well. These four drivers should have a lap in by now. I'd say, Jesse. Yeah, maybe just pushing it a bit too hard and just getting that fourth wheel over that white line is just what's happening there.
Trying to run a lap here just to get on the board down to 29. Only a couple of cars have not set a valid lap, the 100, the 44, and the 548. Now just, I believe, just the two, but you guessed it, Savalainen invalidated his lap again. He's going to get probably two more shots at a valid lap, and that's going to be it for Savalainen. Alex Rogers, P5 on the board in the 119 BMW. That also feels strange to say out loud. I don't think I've ever called that out of Alex Rogers, but there you go. And Mellis, by the way, who was one of the cars who hadn't set a lap, went all the way inside the top five there in the 44 Ferrari. Robin Baugh up to fourth place in the 8 as well. Everyone looking to pick up quite handsomely. Well,
Yeah, Mellis and Rogers, the two cars that hadn't set a lap, just set a lap, and they're 500ths between them. So that's so nice to see, Jesse. You know, you haven't got a lap down. Next minute you whack a lap in, and you're either fifth or you're sixth. That's got to boost their confidence, especially for Rogers. As I was saying before, he's saying before the race that he was struggling with the M4. So nice to see that he's sort of got a time in there that's probably boosted his confidence.
I've also just been told, I can't find him on the map, but that Savalainen is invalid again. Yeah, I see him now. I see him now. He is invalid indeed. He's going to get, Jonas Savalainen's going to get one chance, one more lap to make it valid. Otherwise, he's going to start shotgun on the field. Lucas Cedar, the fastest car so far, 17.332. Still the mark to beat. Watson, Foch, Bond, Timothy Flamger now. The top five, Stachecki, Mellis, Rogers, Pierce. I believe that's a BMW and is rounding out the top 10. And that's how it is right now. It's quite tight up there in the top 2 or 3 positions. Rogers will improve back inside the top 5 to 4th place. 17.6, 119.
I think he was lying to me, Jesse. I don't think he was struggling with the car at all.
I think drivers exaggerate. Drivers have this tendency to exaggerate. I know when I'm driving, I exaggerate all the time. Oh, this car's undrivable. It's terrible. You know, they go out there and they park it inside the top 5. It's just it's drivers. You know, it's like I'm not giving any awards to footballers for their acting on the pitch, and I'm not giving anything away to racing car drivers on the radio either.
Just looking at the timetable, and I see Groom and Daly are at the back, which is quite surprising. So I guess they're both struggling, which is not great. But I also see there's Max Payne, Neil Pimlott, Theo Anton there. They're struggling as well by the looks of it. So this is a very different from what we see from the pre-Q laps I was looking at earlier today and yesterday. Obviously, the pre-Q track was Laguna, so the Porsches, I think the Ferraris and the McLarens were more favourable towards that track. But coming to Spa, obviously, the Porsches aren't too great here, especially with the top end speed compared to the other cars. But yeah, it's definitely switched it from the pre-Q.
Well, Madre bumps Sevcik out of the top 10. The 992 on a lap. Sevcik in the pit lane, has been for a while. They will take no further part. This will be the last lap for Raphael Huell, who has yet to set a lap, but now does. 24th place. At least it's not the basement for Raphael Huell as they get a valid lap in. The only car to not set a valid lap is this man, Savalainen, in the 100. Starting from the back of the pack could be detrimental to his early hopes here today, but we will see how it all pans out. No challengers for Lucas Cedar up front, as that lap might have been money early in this session.
He's still valid. He's still valid, Jesse. He's just got the first stop to go.
Last lap. All comes down to this for Savalainen. Could this be a lap, any lap, to get him on the board? We know, regardless of what car Juna's in, usually a very fast driver, usually inside the top 5, racing for wins and podiums. Could this be an inauspicious start to his championship? It almost was,
There you go.
but it isn't. P4, do I know the man or do I know the man? 4th place for the 100, and that solves that. A little bit of drama, and I almost wonder he did that on purpose to mess with him.
Probably. We're on board with Watson. Apparently, he's half a second up, Jesse. Ooh, this is gonna, if he keeps this going, this is gonna be a really nice, really fast time. Just got bus stop to go. I'll put him into the 216s. He keeps this going. And there you go, Jesse. 16.9.
Jordan Watson And the 147 goes provisional pole with an absolutely blistering lap, and it's going to be confirmed now. Pole position as Max Payne improves a little bit. Final qualifying results on the screen. Watson on pole in his Ferrari 488. Cedar will take outside pole. Bosch, Savalainen, Stachecki, Ba, Madre, Rogers, Flamger, and Mellis, your top 10. And we did, after all, have a high silver car on pole position. We talked about that just briefly about how it doesn't really matter too much. They're all so close on pace, but there had to be a cutoff at some point. You have a silver in front of the field. An incredible qualifying, had the fastest first and third sector, but the fastest second sector was done by a driver sort of in the middle of the top 10. Was not done by any of the front group, interestingly enough. Two separate championships, no overall championships. So Cedar does have the pole for the pro class. Watson for pro or for silver has that. And if you have to go all the way back to 14th place, Silva for the next high silver car. Sovchik and Pervins, the rest of that group, go all the way down the order there. This is normally the part where we would show you championship standings. We have none, so we're not gonna, so we're not. But points awarded for the pole position for the two drivers up front. Ted Edwards, got a few minutes to think about it. 31 cars, Spa Francorchamps. Remind me, always a calm race?
No, never a calm race, Jesse. As we saw in the last season, which was Spa was the final. T1, so in Rouge to Raidillon, that part. That's not T1, sorry. T2 and 3. That was a bit of a mess last time I saw. So hopefully it's a lot cleaner this time. This is obviously Pro High Silver, so I'm expecting them to drive nice and clean, but it doesn't always end that way, does it, Jesse?
Yeah, it's interesting reading chat as we always are, by the way. Hello and welcome in on your late Saturday night. We hope you're in your jammies. I told you all week, pop some popcorn, come have fun with us on Saturday night. Glad that you have chosen to do that. I was reading that both the M6s are in front of the M4s. Interesting that, and very well spotted you. And also Grim, who I believe qualified dead last in this race, 31st, says qualifying doesn't matter, I hope.
Hang on, let me just get on the radio. Grim, can you go faster, please? There you go. That's my team
No,
chat.
no, no, no team orders here. No, see, Ted Edwards. What would you call yourself for that team? Are you the founder? What would you call yourself?
uh, owner. So is Grim as well. We both
So
run
you
the
two are
team together.
co-owners
Yeah.
of Race Ventura. Um, so you're not going to be biased here today, right?
Nope.
With Grim, not at all.
Nope.
Not going to have that. And then in which case I'll make sure that I keep it in check for.
They're both at the back, Jesse. We could focus on the front. I'm joking. I'm joking, of course.
Wow, Ted Edwards already making friends 10 minutes into the broadcast. Miguel Martin's also in the race today, one of our new commentators at RCI as well. And hopefully it will be clean, the start that is. I hope for everyone's sake it is. We have seen some really nice starts here that were mostly clean, but more often than not, with this many cars, this many fast drivers that are separated by hundreds and thousands of seconds, it so often comes to contact. It would be hard to imagine anything else, but for the steward's sake, which of course we do have live stewarding here on Night Owl for season 9, we thank everyone in the stewarding booth as well. It could be a long first couple of laps. What on earth?
That Ralph Hill's
I
car. He's changed his livery from last season. It's I quite like it. The purple and black I like. Oh, hello.
I
I
don't
do like purple and
I don't
black.
know what that's
I
in
agree.
reference to. I don't get that, but otherwise, very nice.
Very nice. I do like these custom liveries people are bringing to the champs. Just something different. It just shows
Well,
the creativity between people. His Jordan Dailies, he made this himself.
yeah, Jordan Daly, who started painting his own car to finish first, you must first finish. He's got a couple of slogans on his cars that he uses, and they're all quite humorous. Here, that was the Triple R car. Here's the Race Ventura car,
I made
where
that last night.
you made this whole livery last night.
Not the whole livery. Just
Oh dear.
I just put Race Ventura on it, and I was like, "Yep, go Grim. You can drive that today. I'll update it later."
Let's go to the front of the grid here because very interesting. You've got a silver that's going to lead them off, and you have a pro who just missed pole position. You would certainly believe if you're the pro car, if you're Cedar, you don't really care too much. I mean, you would like to have gotten pole, but it doesn't really matter because you're still getting full points in your category. And for the silver driver, it's just icing on the cake is that it was for overall. How aggressive do you get if you're the pro leader into turns 1, 2, and 3?
I think quite a lot because you'll be thinking like, how did Watson pull that time? Like maybe the throw is really good here, which I've heard it is. So it could just be Rory's better around here. Watson might be a really good round spar, but as a pro in the pro class, you'll be how is a silver in front of me? I pulled a really good time, and then they just come along and take 3/10 off me. Like so, you'll probably be in my eyes, you'll be like, oh, I want to get past this person no matter what.
Is that the Ted Edwards special there? Is that inside the mind of Ted Edwards?
Yeah, there might be a send in there as well somewhere.
I'm kind of the same way. I've definitely been behind classes that could have been, oh, I'm better than this. But as a driver, you got to have patience. The biggest thing that you need to have, other than speed, obviously, is a lot of patience. If it were me, I would tell my driver not to worry so much about it and just get on with their race. You're not racing them. Doesn't matter if they're quicker than you. The track favors their car. Tell them anything they need to hear to make it okay.
Yeah, I've seen I've been in races here where I'll have the higher class behind me, and they really want to get past you, and I just make myself wide as possible, Jesse. Because as a
Yeah, oh
silver,
yes.
you wanna stay in front of them pros.
Have you seen the Kermit car before? By the way, Ted Edwards.
Uh, just now, yes.
Oh, it's such a lovely car, the Kermit car.
It's guessing it's full of Kermits.
It's very green. I don't mean
I
that in
get.
an eco sense. I mean the car is actually very green. He's got a lot of Kermits on that ass.
What will we see? And yep, there it is.
The
I
rear
love it.
wing says "Good luck, have fun," which I absolutely love.
That's very nice. How it should be.
As Snooty in chat has told Miguel Martin,
Oh,
pretty sure "clean" is not in the Night Owl vocabulary. That's the Kermit quote. We read that out, I think, a week or so ago before a race, but the Kermit car is very quickly becoming a mainstay in the series, in any series here at RCI. I think they race that in 3 different champs now.
yeah, I like the liveries that people make because you have the funny ones like the Kermit is, it's just whack a load of Kermits on. There's a paragraph on the top, and it's cool and funny. Then you have some of the other ones, which can be like Ralph Hills is quite professional, very nice. So I do like the different styles that people come with the deliveries. It's just nice to see, I think.
Going to be that kind of race. Well, they will not start on the F1 straight, as is customary. They will start on the GT straight, which means that Eau Rouge Radion will be the first turns that they will take. So, turn 1, for all intents and purposes, is turn 2. on this start. They'll all line up 2 by 2. Final predictions, Ted Edwards, who's going to take it home today?
Savalainen.
Savalainen from 4th place is going to take this race. Stewie disagrees with you.
I just guess Savalainen because it's Savalainen.
Yeah,
He better prove me right.
it would be hard for me to bet against him. I actually, I have no real guess on who it's going to be. But here we go as we all line up after turn 1, down the hill, and then up the hill again. 31 cars side by side, Night Owl Season 9. Glad to have you all with us. And we are about to go racing again in Night Owl. And it's a dead heat up the hill. They've got to figure this out, or they're going to be stuck beside each other. And they finally do. Watson gets the jump, falling back into line. And there's several cars off, a couple hard into the barrier. Does everybody else get clear? No, they do not contact. But minor though it may be, several cars hard into the wall, but no major calamity. The 119 of Alex Rogers, one of such cars.
More.
Oh, and a big crash here now.
Oh, dodging and weaving.
Cars scattering. Oh, one car bounces off the barrier, nearly returns back onto the track, and more crashes now.
Well, that's not what you wanted to see. It wasn't in Rouge Radio, but it was after. So
that will take some sorting out by the live stewards. I'm thankful that we have so many of them with us here for this championship, and especially tonight.
I can tell you now, Alex Rogers is in the pit lane.
Yeah, be interested to see at the conclusion of this lap what happened to the 119. They started quite far up the running order to be involved in a crash. You have to wonder what exactly happened there. We'll take a look and see if we can't figure out what happened. This, of course, is not what we're looking for. This is Lucas Cedar in the 119. This is the opening lap, and you'll see an Aston in there somewhere. Oh, my goodness.
That was Rogers right in that wall. Yeah, you can see just after he hit the wall again, I guess the steering wheel was pointing to the right. So he lost all the steering. That was a heavy impact, yes.
Sure was, and this is what happened in the right-hander. Oh, just fighting over space, and there's just nowhere to go. Several cars almost wrecking, trying to get out of the way. 4 cars collected there. There's a crash on the front straight just now as well.
Oh dear. Yeah, the thing with someone crashing, you try and get through. Yeah,
there's the purple car crashing, almost made it back on the track, but was able to get it stopped before it wandered back into traffic.
You try and make it through the gap, and then there's someone on your right, as you saw there, coming into this corner here. Someone span on the left, someone went right, and someone was already there. They tapped and then made another accident, so that's the problem.
Well, I'll tell you this much. Something else those early replays revealed is that Lucas Cedar had an interesting start themselves. There it is. That's actually Watson, rather. Excuse me. Lucas Cedar had an interesting start because he ended up at the front, but for a moment. But that's exactly what happened to the 147 as well. The 119 got past. Amir Foch leads the race over Savalainen. Cedar's continuing to have issues. Oh, went into the wall backwards. So they lost it on their own. No contact prior to that moment.
So Watson is now mid-pack in the silver, so that crash lost him a lot.
So let's see here. What happened between the two leaders, Cedar and Watson? Oh, just lost it by himself! He lost it all by himself! Watson lost it up the hill. Incredible stuff.
Don't see that every day, especially after qualifying like that. doing them laps, and then on the race you lose it. That could have been cold tyres. That could have been catching that curb wrong, which I think that could have been, and just lifted that rear up, and you just lose all downforce, and then next minute you're sideways.
I was
That's
confused.
crushing.
Ted, I was confused because I knew at the top of that hill, I knew that Jordan Watson was leading this race. When they got to turn 3/4, depending on how you look at it,
Oh,
Watson's had
there's
another
more.
crash here.
Oh, that's not great. I'm guessing damage has just lost it with the damage he had.
So that's the end of the accident. We'll see if we have the beginning of that accident. I think we might. Is this contact or was this damage already done? So a car in front.
Oh, that's Daly spinning.
That's Jordan Daly spinning. And Watson went into the grass, lost all control of the car, slid back across the track. It's gone completely the wrong way. But like I was saying, I knew something happened. Something was up because Watson was leading at the top of the hill. We cut away immediately, and Cedar was leading. And then all of a sudden, Foch was leading. So in the span of 3 corners, we had 3 different leaders.
This is crazy.
Welcome to Night Owl.
Yep, this is welcome to Night Owl season 9. Yeah, that was yeah, I was not expecting that, Jesse. But you know what? Silver Lining's almost close to that pole position. Getting to that
I was
first.
told.
What was I saying?
I know, buddy. Look, we were told by race control earlier that race control, I believe that's Phil Roberts, that there would not be a restart. There were not enough cars involved in the crash. The track was not really blocked at any given point as well. So it wasn't the majority of the field. There was no restart. They're now working on sorting out all of the contacts, and good luck to them because it was a lot.
We're going to have a long list, Jesse.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, we still have cars going. Who we're on with Robin Bat, who's got a 3.2 second lead on Anga. So, like the front pack's moving away from the rest of the field.
I can tell you the 147, the pole sitter of the race, has retired after a couple of incidents that they had in the first couple laps of this race. So the pole sitter no longer taking part.
That sucks. We have. Oh, here we go. We got another replay. Oh dear. That Phil Large getting taken out. I believe so. Got a little bit of a tap there. That was Tyler who caused that. A little bit of a hugging, I say, Jesse.
A little bit of close racing gone wrong there.
Oh.
Ooh,
Oh no, it's a
slow,
V12.
yeah,
Max
slow out of
Payne.
the corner. Max Payne gets tagged around there.
Oh, shame. Daly gave him that little nudge.
Yeah,
Was,
I mean, he was never. Ooh, Savalainen's back in 9th place now. Something happened there in Arouge Radion to the number 100 because they were running second. They were right behind the leader of the race, and now they're back in 9th place, and they were clearly losing time down the straight there, more so than you would do anyway in this.
Oh, I believe Max Payne has put the garage door down, Jesse.
Max Payne has had a frustrating start to his race. He having issues getting through the chicane and then got tagged around rather besides. It's going to be a frustrating day for a lot of cars. It was always going to be like that. But it has been especially tough for a couple of the competitors here today. Thomas Pierce doing everything in his power to keep Purvis behind.
I was looking forward to hear that B12 scream its way down the straights, but we'll have to wait until next round, I guess, Jesse.
Folks, I'm gonna tell you the God's honest truth. I've been hanging out with Ted this afternoon. He's been talking about that V12 all day long. So I can
Round the
tell he is
outside, that Audi goes.
absolutely
Oh my
distraught, but
God.
that make you a little happy, though?
To see the only Audi in this field and it goes around the outside. Miguel Martin's showing what he can do. Yeah, that put a smile on my face, Jesse. After seeing that V12 leave, yeah, I can tell you one thing: Alex Rogers is still in this race. I believe he's a lap down. He's still going.
Alex Rogers in the
So,
119, continuing around. Oh, look at this! Better up the hill.
oh, McLaren just shoots over Radion like a missile. Oh, is that the Lexus in the background? It's an M4. Silly me. M4 on M4 action.
Well, we're riding on the rear wing of Miguel Martins. That's Lucas Cedar in the 199. That was the second place car in qualifying, the pro pole sitter. And they have had a rough start to the race, as we saw earlier, back in 14th, looking to gain a spot here. That car still looks like it has some life in it.
Who is in the lead in silver? Is it the 66? Oh, so they've got 4 pro cars in between them and the 420. So they've got a nice gap. Here's Janice. Oh, that's that. A little bit of contact, but
Yeah,
nothing serious.
after the first couple laps, they won't care too much about that. Realistically, probably let that bit go. Ryan Mawson's back in P25. I reckon he got a big bit of the early accident. Got a little touch right there as well.
Daly getting close with Mawson, eh? Like to see it.
Got absolutely nothing to say about that. Mawson trying to gain some spots back. I'm pretty sure Mawson was in the epicenter of a couple of those crashes early in this race. All in fifth place. We saw what happened to Daly as well. Robin Baugh has caught Stachecki for second place. Peter Fosh out in front by 1 and some seconds. And Robin now on the back of Stachecki. This is the battle for the second place. Not bad on pace. Bach could get up there and do something about Foch by the end of this.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see if Foch pulls away from the other cars in the M6. I believe the M6 is still a strong car compared to the new M4. I believe in the straight line it's faster. I'm not too sure about that. But yeah, it goes BMW, McLaren, Aston, McLaren, Aston. So
Have lining up one spot, the 100 in front of the 187. Ucharaba. So going the right direction. Looks a little loose, that 100, I'll have to admit, but looks fast, all things considered. Here's Baugh and Stachecki going at it. Looks down the inside, and nothing doing there. Baugh has to fall back in line for the moment. So we've got Sevchik in the lead, the 66 BMW, leading in high silver. Irvin's in second, and Miguel Martins in third in the high silver class. Foch, Stachecki, and Baugh, top 3, of course, in pro. And if you had that on your bingo card, I don't know, you must be a mind reader. That is completely different than how they qualified.
yeah, I'm surprised how things unfolded. Like well, happened daily. That's not a good sign. Oh,
Bailey has parked the car, and I believe that's going to be day done for the. Oh no! Big crash here.
who's that? Is that Siddle?
That was Frawler and Cider there that made contact. Was that Mark? No, that's definitely. Yeah, that's definitely Roman Frawler and Cider.
Oh,
Oh my
it
goodness!
looks like Cider just went a bit left and took himself out off the
that
M4.
That was bizarre. No matter how you slice it.
I call that a yikes.
Speaking of three wide into the chicane, I don't know about that. We saw that earlier, but just a replay to
Ah, it's just
watch
hugging
a
Jesse. That's what I call it.
little bit more than a hug there.
Yeah, depends what you call a hug.
You got me on that one. As Pervins. Oh, little
Oh,
bumper cars there into the chicane.
nothing bad came out of that. The pit window is open. It is a 33-minute pit window, Jesse. So, and it's only 1 liter of fuel.
Of course, Night Owl has random pit requirements every race that are announced day of the race. Ed Edwards is the mastermind behind that, and you went easy on them this week, and I feel like they'll appreciate that a little bit, considering how mental the first 15 have been.
Yeah, I'm quite glad I made it a bit of an easy race to get settled into for the season 9 of Night Owl. I have been known to go a bit crazy with the pit requirements, and I do get moaned out quite a bit, and I don't care.
I love it when it's random, and I like it when it's unusual, but if there was a day for normalcy, today would be the day. Ba is still trying to get around
Oh,
Stachecki, and furiously so.
look at
The
that
Kermits,
gain.
the Kermits are absolutely coming, and he's gonna have the inside, but that's not the best through this section. Stachecki able to use the outside momentum to clear before they get to the chicane, but Robin Ba has so much pace in that Aston.
I think Robin's just going to sit behind until he finds the easy overtake. Uh, just keep getting that slipstream. Just stay there. You ain't going to go anywhere then. That's what I would do, Jesse.
I feel like Ba is just sort of probing for weakness. He's showing intent. He's hoping that Stachecki just makes a little mistake. When you're that quick like that 8 Aston is, that's all you really need. And Stachecki knows that and is doing a great job keeping his car where it needs to be. But that's not going to help the fact that I believe that's Mawson that just came out of pit lane. It's definitely a purple BMW. Unsure which one that is, but the McLaren wasn't able to keep their foot down, and that's going to hurt them down the straight. But still, an excellent defense is going to keep the 144 in front of the 8, despite the fact that a better Eau Rouge Radion was had by Robin Ba. Looking to the inside, this might be an
Is it a
opportunity. He's going to be hard to do it without contact. Was there a little bit? It was ever so close. Was that a Ted Send?
I think that was Jesse.
Oh, the resend! He returned to
Oh,
sender.
this
Stachecki back out in front.
this is what we want, Jesse. This is what we need. This is fighting. It's clean. It's nice. Oh, I love this.
A fender rub maybe, but beyond that, just good hard racing. You love to see it. Roman Frawler.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I think they just clipped the rear and just gave it a little push. That's not what we want to see.
I'm gonna tell you, Ted. Those are the wrecks that when they happen to me, I'm the most upset about. So
they're the ones that give you the most damage, and they're only like a little tap, and then that's what really that makes your focus go from 100% to nothing, and you just don't want to race anymore.
And I'll tell you something else. When you get turned like that and you get tapped, it doesn't matter whose fault it is. You're looking for somebody to blame, and those are the ones they hurt the most on the pit timer, and they hurt the most in the soul as well. But what that does do is move Miguel Martins into second place in high silver, and Grim all the way from the back of the grid to third in high silver.
What? What?
I know, right?
Where did that come from? What? It comes out of nowhere. Oh, okay then.
Folks, Grim Lilith
Yeah.
came from 31st, that's dead last on the grid, now in a podium spot in high silver. Don't let your dreams be dreams.
I'm guessing he just stayed out of all that trouble, and that's how you do it.
Well, it's Grim. He's an expert on dodging.
Oh,
right?
Caught that right. Caught that right hand. They both went what? Oh, and they're back again. They said goodbye and then rejoin.
I thought
Oh,
that was going to end in the inside wall.
nice. Is
There.
it ascend? It's ascend.
No, no,
Half
that's not it.
ascend. That's a
No,
half.
that's ooh, a little bit
Yeah.
of a tap
Oh,
there. But here
that
comes
was a.
Thomas Pierce, who's up into this.
He's Pierce has made it. 187 just got a bit of a rear end slide coming out that corner there. That's one thing with Spa, especially for me. I end up sliding the rear a lot. That's
Sure
all I'm gonna say.
does. Stefano Pocaraba trying to do a little bit of both worlds here, trying to attack Madison, trying to keep Pierce behind him. And rather unfortunately, it hasn't gone his way. Stefano losing a spot to Thomas Pierce, who has a 5-second penalty. Now Pierce will take a look at Madison here. Foch leads the race, 2.2 seconds over Stuchecki. Robin Baugh in third place. Robin has been trying to get by Christoph Stuchecki for the past 10 minutes or so, to no avail. He's had a couple of good looks, nothing that stuck though. Stuchecki has been excellent with his defensive driving, putting his 144 McLaren exactly where he needs it to block the Danglin Wang Sports Aston Martin. A brilliant fight for second place. Amir Foch will likely hope that they continue to do this as he is gapping the field right now. Samir Foch, it's almost poetic justice a little bit, if I'm honest. Samir Foch has been caught up into so many strange accidents in RCI. It's always nice to see him get one back, and today was able to avoid all the chaos that literally happened in front of him. And he's taken the lead here in a fast race car. He's given himself a chance to win this race. Sean Madison now trying to defend against Thomas Pierce. A little bit of contact there into the chicane.
The Salvoline has the fastest lap with a 2:18.3. And I don't think anyone, and no one's close to that really. The next fastest is at 18.6, so, and that's by Robin Matt. So I wonder how long it would take for Salvoline to get back into the top five, Jesse. What are you saying?
I don't know. It might take a little while. I don't know how potent some of these cars are. Sevchik trying to work on Alessio Mellis for sixth place here, the leader in the high silver class. Sevchik might be laughing all the way to the bank today. They were absolutely, they were quick in quali, but they were absolutely gifted this gap between them and the rest of the silver class. That might be the difference here today. Wonder if Miguel Martins is way back there. I wonder if he would have the pace to come up here and catch the 66. I don't know if we'll ever get the answer to that. Otherwise, Sevchik has been the same way that Foch was gifted the lead. Sevchik's been gifted the lead, and they're doing wonders with it here.
I would say it comes down to the pit stop, Jesse. Even though it's only for a litre, you still gotta come into the pit, not speed, because that will ruin your race completely. Then you've got to come all the way down that really nice long pit lane, get to the bottom, get in your pit box, do a perfect pit stop, and leave without crashing on the way out.
Well, it's easier said than done. The pit lane here, absolutely massive. It's two pit lanes in one. And on top of that, we do see quite a bit of speeding penalties. The narrow pit entry here can wreak havoc. And also, it can also damage your car quite easily getting into pit lane if you get in a little bit too vigorously. LaValle in the 911, working on Kierton. And that pass done.
If Curtin just let them by, seeing that they were a pro class, they're not going to lose anything. Probably
Well,
get that slipstream.
I can tell you there's been some penalties that have come out. There was a 5-second penalty for car 131 for causing avoidable contact with the 46 and the 187. A warning for 187 for an unsafe rejoin after that contact. And the more serious penalties, a stop and go 10 for car 14 for taking out the 995 and the 420. That on lap one, turn five. A drive through penalty for car 93 for taking out the 548. That in the very same corner on the very same lap. No further action for the 992 for going off track to avoid stopped cars, gains no advantage. And a 5-second penalty for car 101 rejoins unsafely, causing avoidable contact with the 420. That lap one, turn seven on that. That's all I have for you right now, but I can tell you they're still furiously working. I suspect we're going to have quite a few more penalties from that first lap.
That stop and go 10 is going to really hurt Phil Large with the 14. That's it's definitely something you don't want to see, but they are in the pit coming to serve because they've already done their pit stop of their litre fuel. And they've got to do another one, Jesse. This time, 10 seconds hitting there.
Yeah, it's going to be frustrating. You always know it's coming too as a driver when you do something in the car. Even if it's not explicitly your fault, you turn somebody, it's a bit of a problem. And you know it's coming, and you're waiting for the penny to drop, and well, it definitely, in a 1 hour race, there's no other way to looking at it. It completely takes it out of you. But Thomas Pierce, for instance, who's coming into the pit lane now, he's got a 5-second penalty for his involvement in an accident earlier. 5 seconds doesn't take it out, doesn't really take you out of anything. It'll take you out of whatever battle you're in, but you have pace like Pierce does. I'm not too sure how much the penalty is going to affect the 131. Obviously, there'll be 5 seconds longer in the pit lane. Other than that, it's not that bad.
But we've got a fight for 5th place here with the 44 and the 183. Then we've got the 66 behind, just getting in that slipstream. So then we've got Mawson behind that in 23rd. So like Mawson's already in his pit stop by the looks of it.
He has done. Mawson has a penalty to give himself for being a naughty boy.
Oh, Mawson. I let him in tonight, Al, and he goes and gets himself a penalty on the first race, eh, Jesse?
Yeah, they deemed that he rejoined unsafely and caused contact with another car, so that includes my earlier deduction that Mawson was involved in that early melee. He was, not initially, but after the fact, when everyone scattered. And of course, the reason Mawson's in the race today is because, well, the man behind the cameras is behind the cameras, so next season, it's likely going to be the reverse of that. It's likely going to be Mawson in the box with a Benjamin Heilman out on track. Of course, season 10 of Night Owl. Hopefully, when that rolls around, Stewie will probably drive a Porsche, I'm assuming, around some track very fast.
Kenny ever drives a Porsche. Yeah, 9 seasons, Jesse. 9 seasons.
Been here for every one of them, and I still see something new every single. It is incredible. Today, we saw something that I'd never seen before. Both the leaders in both classes on the same lap in consecutive corners having a crash. That's never happened.
I saw the Audi go around the outside of 2 cars into the bus stop. Ain't seen that happen before.
3 leaders in 3 turns. Ridiculous. Welcome to Night Out. That's how we do it here.
Almost halfway into the race, and yeah, very different from what I was thinking this was going to be, Jesse. Self-Aligning in 8th, didn't expect that. Got the 66 and 7th, wasn't expecting that. Grim in 3rd in silver, I definitely wasn't expecting that, but you know. But no, this is not a bad race. If you forget all the incidents, Jesse, you've got some good racing.
Yeah, if you forget all the bad stuff, it's been a great race.
That bad stuff never happened.
Oh dear. Well, very close driving up at the front of the fields to Checky and Baugh still. embroiled in a fight. It's cooled off just a little bit, but they're still very close, within a second of each other. Got this battle here, where Savalainen is trying to gain some spots back. We don't exactly know what happened to the 100 BMW. We detected Aruj Aradian there was a bit of a slip. Didn't appear to be damage on the 100. They lost a ton of spots. They were well up the field. Went all the way back to ninth. They gained one spot back. I'm trying to get my Sevchek in the 66 for seventh place. We'll see what the 66 does here. Do they let the 100 go? Do they race them? No. How careful would you be with the lead here?
For me, I'd be extremely careful. That's the thing. You're in the lead of silver when you shouldn't be really. You didn't qualify in the lead.
Wow.
I don't know where the 66 was actually qualifying, to be honest.
I think he was
But
like second or third.
okay. But you know, you're in the lead. You're got half an hour left of the race. You still got to do your pit stop. That's one thing. But you don't want to mess up, and you're racing with pro gang. You're in between two pros, and that's what I think. That's where you want to be. You want to keep getting that slipstream off the guy in front. So then you just keep your pace. But you're sitting there, and you don't want to mess up. Last thing you want to do is have a little slip and slide, and then have Miguel Martins catch up to you, and then that's when I think that's when the main pressure starts hitting Jesse. Is oh, now I can see the silver under my timing. I see that time coming down. Then for me, that's when the pressure hits, and that's when the little mistakes come out.
Robin Ball looking down to the inside again, trying to make this move on Stachecki. It's going to be close. It was always going to be close, but gets pinched off just enough. But does he still have position? Only just, as they almost come to contact, running out side by side. Heavy contact to the front right of Boskar. More
Oh,
contact on the right-hander. It sends them flying. Boz off the tracks to Checky. Nearly spins on the inside. Ba gets it going and is going to continue. Now, that might take a little extra look from the stewards, of course, as that came to blows, and as close as they had been for the past 25 minutes, you almost could see that coming. Ba, I think, is just going to take this position. Take another look at this. Ted, talk us through it.
yeah. So Bar's on the inside, and yeah, it just keeps his line. But then the McLaren comes across, and yeah, that's a bit weird. That is. I'm not too sure, Jesse, but I think Robin thinks he's in the right. That it wasn't his fault because he hasn't given the position back. Now, how it works is if you give the position back, even if you're the one to get the penalty, it'll be a lesser penalty. So I guess Robin thinks, no, that wasn't my fault. That was the McLaren's fault. I'm going to keep my foot pinned to the floor. So interesting to see what the stewards say on that one, Jesse, because I can't tell. For once, I can't
I
give you an opinion.
I just wonder if Robin Ba came into that corner. He charged into that corner, and the Checky was still there. We saw, by the way, we saw LaValle get by Frawler for 19th place and cut back to Savalainen riding in car. Oh my goodness! Seesawing the wheel. You could almost cut down a tree with that much sawing at the wheel. Look at this again. He grabs it and then almost loses it again, and he's all good. And he barely lost any time. Savalainen, the Speed Juice fastest lap of the race award thus far.
Rear wing?
Car.
Sure.
We're gonna have a slow car in front there, and that's gonna stack them up for the moment. As I say, it's a slow car. It's not actually a lap car. That's Wouter Billen who has fallen off that spot. So Sevchik has taken 6th place from Wouter Billen. I do apologize.
Sevchik just wiping these pros under the carpet. Is this just what happened, Jesse?
Well, like you said, it was very close in pre-Q. A thousandth of a second made a difference. It was actually just about that close between the cutoff to pro and high silver.
Yeah, very close. It's very nice to see how everyone was, even from pro to am, everyone through was very close. It was very nice to see. So I'm expecting low silver and am to be the same as this, very close, probably very different to be honest. With the AMs might be higher than the silvers. Same here, you got a silver in 6, and you got a few pros near the back. So
Well, one thing's for sure, we're going to go into race 2 in 1 week's time and be none the wiser. I can't make heads or tails of this race. It's been that crazy of a race. Foch, though, the constant, 5.5 seconds out in front of the field as Stachecki hits from third place. Robin Baugh now in the second place position. Flamger in third now. And Savalainen has got by Sevchek in the 66. So up a spot is Savalainen. Well, actually, no, Sevchek has pitted. I just noticed there, and that's how Savalainen's got by him. So now Juno will look at Wouter Billen in P6.
looks like we have some more penalties, Jesse.
Do you want me to? Are you cueing me to do the?
There's a lot of reading.
No further action between the 8, the 992, the 119, and the 147. The 992 forced the 8 off the track and caused the collision, but no further action. 5-second penalty for car 992 for an unsafe rejoin. Drive-through penalty for car 992, not holding brakes while spinning, causing the takeout of the 119. That's how Alex Rogers got involved. No further action between the 93 and the 111. No racing incident between the 111, the 762, the 992, and the 548. Racing incident between the 966 and the 111. Steward note: everybody tries to avoid an accident, and there was a car spinning that resulted in contact. Racing incident between the 197 and the 966. 15-second penalty for car 911 for a takeout with position not gained, that against the 14. Racing incident between the 420 and the 60. Racing incident between the 101 and the 197. Racing incident between the 966 and the 197. Racing incident between the 14 and the 911. And I'm confident in saying they're done with lap 1 at least. So the major penalties that came out of lap 1 was a stop-go 10 for car 14, a drive-through for car 93, 5-second penalty for car 101, 5-second and a drive-through for car 992, and that was it for lap 1. The penalty I have was for the 911, that on lap 3. So a couple of cars there, pretty heavy punishments for big crashes on lap.
Yeah, that's a lot of penalties, and you see the 992 still hasn't pitted, and they got a drive-through, so that's gotta really hurt. Here's Silverline still chasing Billen 183 in the Aston Martin. So I wonder how close the Aston and the M6 are to each other, because you got the big boy M6 and you got the sort of small Aston that's pretty good from the last time I drove this. And I'd say they're pretty on par. Apart from, I think the M6 has more speed down the straight, so I think that's where Silverline will get that advantage.
Ellis in pit lane, Pocoroba in the pit lane as well. Only got about 8 minutes to do your mandatory stop, only refuel required. And this man, we haven't seen much of him. It's because he's been out in front of the field, easy as she goes. But Samir Foch has done such an excellent job driving away from the rest of the field. Robin Baugh was 5.4 seconds behind, but has in the last lap started to claw some of that back. It's down to 4.5. It was 5.2 the last sector line. It's 4.5 now. Does Samir Foch make a pit stop now, knowing that he's being caught, and hope that he, well, definitely comes in before Baugh at least, and maybe try to work the magic? Do you stay the course? I don't know.
Hang on, did the 66 just get a stop and go 30?
That
That's
is correct.
that'd be for speeding in the pit lane. Oh, that's going to change things up, Jesse. That, like I said before, that's going to hurt. If you get that stop and go 30, you're sitting there for a while. Especially at Spa, it's definitely not a place you want to get and stop and go 30.
Your leader in high silver, Sevchek, has just got a stop and go 30 for speeding in the pit lane, and that will hand over the lead in high silver, at least we believe, to Miguel Martins once everybody else has pitted. Grim, Lilith, Anton, Philmalter have yet to pit from that class. But we imagine Miguel Martins will be out in front once everybody does.
The 995's in front of Martins, Jesse, and they've already pitted.
Oh my goodness, that's right. We forgot about Silva in the 995. I forgot about Silva in the
By 3
995.
seconds.
They pitted way early in the cycle. Thiago Silva.
Fair enough.
I don't know.
You know.
I don't know how
Yeah.
Silva did that, but it's amazing. He's way out there. 7 seconds to the good.
Just hiding. That's all they were doing. I
Holy
have no
cow.
words.
Race is blowing my mind. I'll tell you something else blowing my mind. Fastest man on the track. Una Savalainen continuing his march up towards the front of the field. I don't know how far he's actually going to get. Could he claw back a podium? We'll have to see. It's going to be a tall order to do that, but he certainly has a shot at a top 5, I reckon. He's in the top 5 now, but it's only because several of the cars that he was racing have already pitted.
So Robin Barr, looking here at the past laps he's done, he is a lot faster than Foch. So I'm expecting that time, like it has now, it's 4 seconds between Barr and Foch. So I'm expecting that to keep dropping and dropping and dropping. Just depends if Barr burns out his tyres before Foch does. I wonder if Foch is just sort of took a step back and keeping the tyres going, because obviously you don't have to take tyres here. You can if you want, but I think it would put you back a bit. And you see Savalainen diving in now. Get his 1 litre out of the way. And Barr is in as well. So
Well, there were some interesting contacts over the last several laps that I was curious what the stewards would say, and it's all good news for all the cars involved. A warning for car 100 for an unsafe rejoin. A warning, or excuse me, a warning for car 199 for side-by-side contact, causing a spin. I believe the 199 was deemed at fault for not holding brakes. So that's what the warning was actually for. Otherwise, it probably would have been a racing incident. Racing incident between the 93 and the 199. A racing incident between the 420 and the 62. Remember when Robin Baugh and the 144 Stachecki made contact? We're very curious what the stewards would say. They've said that was a racing incident between the two of them.
I'm expecting that.
I definitely expected that to be a penalty one way or another. It wasn't. And racing incident, Madre here.
Oh, okay.
Up and down the straightaway, trying to break the momentum.
Lexus saying I want that room, and Porsche saying no, that's mine.
Oh my goodness.
Bit close.
I believe that was Thomas Pierce, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah, the only Lexus on the track.
Yeah, Thomas Pierce saying, I'm trying to break your momentum and I'm not letting you over here, sunshine.
I think what that was is Madre is in Pierce's eyes a back marker, so could be letting Pierce through, but Porsche said no, so.
Well, I mean, he doesn't have to let him through. Keep that in mind. He doesn't have to do it. And I don't know.
Ooh.
Ooh.
That was a very nice save. Who was that in the ass?
Oh my goodness. That was a very scary moment there. Oh, speaking of scary moments, we saw another one on the live shot. We're going to look at this again. Stefano, look at that at real speed.
That is foot to the floor. That is, I am keeping this car out of this wall.
I wouldn't have been as brave.
No, me neither.
Kokoraba there.
There would have been a brake pedal in there somewhere.
Holy moly. Got really close to that wall.
Fair enough, you know. It's out of the wall. Gonna give him that.
You gotta be talking yourself up in your head if you're gonna do stuff like that. And certainly, oh
Oh,
no, in front. Ooh,
we.
that's a
Oh,
9-2.
it's close.
They're off
Madre doing a
the
bit of Tokyo
same lap.
Drift. I wouldn't advise doing that in a race, but it looked good.
Padre, who is a lap or so down, is
Oh,
doing a Swift exhibition. They do that here, but today is not that day, and something bad wrong with that car.
and yep, Lexus is back. So we just hear Silverlinen as a drive-through, Jesse.
Yeah, that might be for a penalty. Let me just check. No,
That's
that's not
for
for a
track
penalty.
limits.
That is definitely for track limits. There's a racing incident between the 6 and the 62, racing incident between the 60 and the 131. So that is a drive-through penalty for track limits, an ACC assigned penalty for driver 100, and a day that has gone so poorly will continue to do so. That will erase all of that progress and then some.
Didn't this happen to Silverlinen in the last round of last season?
It definitely happened to Savalainen some other time. I can't
Hmm.
exactly place it
I
in my
know
head.
he was near the front, like he has been today, and then next minute he's been in the middle. Then he got a penalty, and then he dropped to the back.
I'll tell you something else. Our
Hmm.
broadcaster was theorizing that Savalainen was invalidating his qualifying laps on purpose, and there was a bit of a debate behind us on if that was on purpose, if it was, drivers being drivers. But after seeing that drive through, I'm pretty sure it's just Savalainen pushing as hard as they could, got them into trouble here.
You don't want to drive through around this track. This is the last track you want to do a
It's
drive through, a
literally the
stop and
last
go.
track you wanna drive through for. It's
Literally.
literally like, we're not being sarcastic, we're not trying to build it up, we mean it. Out of every track probably in the world, the one that I would least want to have a drive-through at is here because of how ridiculous the pit lane is.
It's two pit lanes glued together.
2 long pit lanes. If it was
You
2
don't
short ones,
want
it wouldn't be
this.
so bad. But it's 2 very long pit lanes.
Oh, so Foch and Willem is in the pit lane with the windows closed. Now I can't remember if you come into the pit lane after it's closed, does it still count?
I don't know. They as long as they get to the line before the timer expires, it counts.
Ah, see, I don't push it. I like to get in this pit lane at a reasonable time. I've I've never uh, pushed it to the limit for the pit lane. I don't trust myself.
Thomas Pierce trusts himself to get around Stefano in the 187. Can he do it though? Lexus has looked racy all day long. Going to go up the inside for the chicane. Is there enough overlap? Cross back over. Stefano will have the outside. Ooh, contact there. Stefano might have pushed Pierce out and said, no, you don't. Flashing of the lights. Oh, frustrated Thomas Pierce flashing Stefano in the 187 saying, you didn't leave me room.
Oh, this is a fight for eighth. Ooh. Sorry, I was looking at the penalties, seeing if we had any more, because I'm waiting for some more, Jesse.
Robin Baugh now less than 3 seconds behind Samir Foch. I've been doing the math. As you might expect, Robin Baugh could potentially catch Samir Foch here at the end of this race. He's catching him quick enough tenths a sector. I think he might get there. And if he doesn't, he's going to be just shy.
Wait, Flamga's in the third?
But of course, Stachecki had the half spin, remember, with the 144.
Good. Sorry, I forgot about that bit.
And Flamger, Timothy Flamger had already done their pit stop. So yes, the 19 McLaren up into P3. Pit stops are done. Thiago Silva leads in high silver, the 995. over Pervins in the 420. Miguel Martin's third. Prim up to fourth from dead last in that category. Martins, by the way, is right behind Pervins in front. Well, speaking of,
Ooh, a little tap there. And another one. Yeah, might as well on entry and exit, might as well give a tap.
you got to hit all four corners,
Oh,
otherwise
you
you're not perfect, right?
exactly.
Big move here by LaValle, the driver of the 911, the Canadian who has had several penalties today and in fact still has an outstanding time penalty. Working his way back inside the top 15, made that look fairly easy there.
Oh, Steve Mardre has not done their pit stop. Just point that out. Rubbing salt in the wound.
Andre near the back of the field of the cars that are still running. Alex Rogers is still here, but he's 7 laps off the pace. I'm sure.
I give it to Alex. You know, you take it. What was it? Lap 1, he got taken out.
He got crunched a
And
few times on lap. Sure.
I don't even think he made it halfway around the track before he ended up in the pit again. But he's still driving, so I give him that. You know, an hour race and you get hit at the start. You know, 55 minutes left and you're at least 2 laps down. That's definitely got to put you down a bit. So he stayed in it, and you know.
How bad was that penalty for the former high silver leader of Sevchik? The 66, who was leading in class, is not even in the not even in the top 10
Wow,
in that class right now. 23rd overall. That's how bad that penalty was for the 66. And Davalainen in a very similar boat in 18th place, just trying to gain spots back. What we're watching, though, is Krzysztof Stachecki trying to run down Timothy Flamker. Got right up behind him and lost it a little bit. That car looks a little nervy for the 144.
Oh, him not chasing Grim Lilith. M4 versus Porsche.
Well, keep in mind, right in front of these two, Pervins and Martin are going at it too.
So, what's this? A battle for
The battle
fourth
for
and a battle
fourth.
for second.
Yeah, exactly. And whoever loses that battle up front is going to come back here and battle the winner of this battle.
Oh, 8 minutes left, Jesse, and it's all hotting up. This is what we like to see. Oh, I love
It is
this.
nice. RCI races always seem to come back together. I can't explain it. I've done commentary for several different groups, and for whatever reason, RCI races always have this weird thing where it always comes back at the end. It's some kind of magic formula, I swear. Thomas Pierce is hoping he has the magic formula to get by Stefano. He tried to the outside a few laps ago. He's trying the inside. No, that's just Thomas Pierce, you naughty boy. You can't do that. Come on.
Jesse, I think there's a left in there somewhere. Pretty sure the bus stop goes left.
It doesn't go right and then right, does it? It definitely goes right and then
don't think
left.
so.
Yeah. Thomas Pierce, he will have done that with a little bit of a bite of the lip, a grin maybe. And I'm not sure the stewards will like that at all.
I don't think they will, Jesse. That was a bit suspicious. I think if we saw the inside cam, it would tell us everything we need to know.
Well, the important thing is there's nothing that says you can't make contact while making a pass. What it says is that you can't crash somebody or force somebody off the track. What Thomas Pierce did there, he forced the 187 off the track.
Yeah, it looked like an advantage, like a purpose move to get an advantage.
Purposeful or not, the rules are very simple. You cannot force somebody off the track to make a pass. And I wonder, do the stewards consider that off the track?
I'd say that was almost in the pit lane, but yeah, would you like another pit start? But yeah, so Robin Barr. Last lap was a 19.2. Bosch's lap was a 19.9.
Oh, he's digging. He's getting there. It's under a second. It was
Oh,
1.3 the last
wait.
sector time. It's half a second now. Robin Baugh's gonna get there. He's gonna get there so quick, folks. He's gonna have a lap to think about it before he tries to make this pass. And Robin is not gonna let Samir win this race. It's gonna be a straight up fight between the two of them. I've
So
said this before, I say it again. There's a couple of cars I would never want to have to pass. Samir Foch is one of them. He can make his car very wide. I reckon for the win today, he's willing to make it very, very wide indeed.
So, Jesse Lee, we have a fight for first and second. I believe third and fourth in pro, and a first and second in silver, and a third and fourth in silver. Am I right?
Well, you got a battle for second and a battle for fourth in silver. So, yeah, it's very close. By the way, can we talk about this for a second? Madre in 26th place has had a rough day, hasn't done the mandatory stop, has been penalized, has been crashed. He is the speed juice fastest car on the racetrack. What is going on?
And to add to that, he's got a 5-second penalty for blue flag infringement.
Oh dear, I've actually also been told about the 992. He is one LP away from being disqualified in this race,
You're
not the
joking.
championship, in the race. So one
Uh,
LP.
So, as I was saying earlier, I'll read out here on incident lap 17 was the 992 and the 131, which was Thomas Pierce, warning for car 992, which was blocking under blue flags, as we saw. And then the 992 gets a 5-second penalty for continuing blocking under blue flags. The second warning increased to 5 seconds, which was with the 131 again, Thomas Pierce. So I think I called that, Jesse.
I just don't know what life is anymore.
We got another one here. We got lap 20, turn 19. We got the 1 in 4 car 187, forcing the 131 off track, increased it to 5 seconds. The second warning. And we got lap 21. We got the no further action between 131 turns into the 187 and loses out. Lap 21, racing incident between the 42 and 61 minor contact. Lap 22, warning for 131. 131 pushes 87 off. I think they're fighting, Jesse.
Well, here it is, folks. We promised you a interesting race. How about a late race battle for the lead? The rear bumper cover of Samir Foch's 88 BMW. Looking back at Robin Baugh's Aston, it's those two cars. These are two different cars than started up front. I can guarantee you that. But Robin Baugh has been coming to the front all race long, and he's finally got there, and not a moment too soon. He's got a lap and a half to make this pass on Samir Foch, but Foch is going to defend as much as he possibly can in that Ukraine colored car, I think is what he's going for there. I believe I'm right in saying. And he's going to make that BMW as wide as humanly possible. He is in the right car for that, though. It's already quite wide.
I'll say it's already wide. I think you can make it wider, can you?
I actually don't know what the regulations is on such a thing. Thiago Silva here is now battling outside of his class, already inside the top 10.
But inside the top 10 because the 187 has 5 seconds, so comfortable.
Comfortable indeed. Well, it's a little bit more comfortable for Pervins as well in the 420 Bentley. They have gapped Miguel Martins by 1.6 seconds. That battle has cooled off. One battle that hasn't cooled off is this. Grim Lilith still holds a very small lead over Neil Pimlott for 4th place in that class. And you got to go for every single point in a championship, because at the end of the season, you cannot live on what ifs. If I had one more point, well, for Neil Pimlott, he's got one more point, at least a couple more points, in fact, because they're so close to the front, right in front of him. He has to go for it. It's 4th place. It's not even a podium, but the points all add up in the pivotal last race of the season. Neil Pimlott knows that. Look at Grim.
Grim
Little
getting sideways.
slidey boy And could that have been a detrimental move showing the outside to Neil Pimlott? The inside Grim Lilith will hold on to it and hold on to the apex as well. And all's well that ends well in that corner for Grim Lilith. Neil Pimlott, though, is not going to let this go.
We've seen before, Jesse, where 1 point is podium or not after the season is finished. I've seen it a few times now, and yeah, I've never been that person to have that 1 point difference, but I've seen it a few times, and I do feel sorry for the people who miss out. But that's how it is, you know. You gotta try and go for it, but you gotta try and go for it cleanly. Now, I see Pim not. There's a few times where I see could have done a Ted Sen, which is a Sen which shouldn't have happened but works. But I think he's going for that clean one, because if he touches Lilith in the wrong way, Lilith goes round, then there's either a 5 or a 10-second penalty. So you don't want that.
How close has the points championships been, folks? We had a championship decided on count back, a dead tie. We've come into the final race of a championship with 3 people tied for a podium spot, and we've had championships settled by a single point in the past. You cannot make it to the final race and wonder what might have been. You just have to go for it. You have to finish as high as you possibly can. Robin Bob will know that. This is the final lap. They're coming to get the checkered flag. Robin Baugh is going to have one more shot to pass.
Is he going to go for a Sen?
How wide can the double 8 make it on the single 8 here in the final bus stop chicane? I just think that BMW is leaving him just a little bit. That might be the difference.
I think that's it, Jesse. Yep. There's no way. Unless Vosh, for some reason, does a 180. Nope, that's it.
Samir Foch ran a perfect race. He was gifted the lead, but he knew what to do with it. Samir Foch wins round 1 of Night Owl. Second place, Robin Baugh. Timothy Flamker, a brilliant 3rd place for him. Stachecki 4th, and Mellis, your top 5. Wouter Billen in 6th place. Madison comes home in 7th, or will do by the time they get around. Thomas Pierce 8th, and Thiago Silva, the 995 early pit stop strategy converted into a dub. He's going to win the very first race in this series in high silver. Excellent job from Thiago Silva as well.
Yeah, that comes out of nowhere. We didn't even see that coming, Jesse.
Had no idea that Thiago worked the pit strategy to win that race. We were talking about the other 3 cars up front. Turns out it wasn't the case at all. Silva pitted so quietly, it just worked out. Pervins will come home 2nd in high silver. Miguel Martins will hang on to 3rd, and Grimm will hang on to 4th over Neil Pimlott. A good close race for 4th place between them. Savalainen, by the way, did finish this race in 23rd with the Speed Juice fastest lap of the race.
Some excellent racing today, Jesse. That was a good round 1, I would say.
Well, I'll put it to you this way. I'm pumped up, and it doesn't get any easier. We go from the longest track on the schedule to the most dangerous turn 1 on the schedule, round 2. Next Saturday night, we're in Monza for the 1-hour race there. Random pit requirements, as always, as take the show to Italy in 1 week's time. Turn 1, very dangerous, a very good racetrack for some of the BMWs in the field, I think we'll all agree.
Sorry to stop you there, Jesse. It's not next week. It's the week after.
What are we doing next week then?
9 hours of Alton. Cup car and GT4.
I should probably know that because I'm in that race, but you're absolutely correct. We take the week off for the one-off 9 hours of Alton Park. Back in 2 weeks' time, April 2nd on that Saturday for the Monza race. But of course, we'll see you on Monday for the finale for the Asia Masters Championship. We'll be right back with you on Friday next week as well for that race. There will not be a stream of the night, or as far as I can tell. We'll be back with you in 2 weeks. Ted Edwards, first day in the booth with me here for Night Owl. Well, you certainly got your money's worth.
Didn't want to pay, and I got my money's worth. No, this was a really good race between both pro and silver. It, I can ask for more, Jesse. Good start to the season.
You're going to want to like, subscribe, hit the bell, do all the things because, like I said, we got a slate of races for you coming up next week. It'll be 2 weeks before we see you again for Night Owl Season 2. It'll take or a race 2 of Season 9, I should say. It's going to take about 2 weeks for us to sort through all what happened today. It's only going to get more entertaining. We'll see you on Monday, of course, and then Friday. Then, of course, love for you to like, subscribe, hit the bell, do all the things. And of course, we'd like to thank our partners, Race Department, racedepartment.com, AK Informatica, Driver 61, Fanatec, and simracing.gp. You can get 25% off your driver coaching by going to driver61.com and entering our discount code in the description. And when making purchases from fanatec.com on quality sim racing hardware, we invite you to use our affiliate link. Doesn't cost you a thing, and it could help us with things server cost going forward in the future. If you're interested in some community-based sim racing, join simracing.gp, join a community. Signing up is completely free. Of course, Race Department, a fantastic resource for sim racing news, information, and AK Informatica. Thank you for providing our server solutions. One race in the book. We'll be back in a couple of weeks for round 2 in Italy. Until then, thank you for watching and have a good night.